Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into the latest global updates.
Yeah, there's a lot coming in. Diplomatic briefs, science news, security updates, even some history.
Exactly. Our mission, as always, is to sift through it all, find those key insights, maybe some surprising facts, and give you a clear picture of what's going on.
Trying to connect the dots, essentially. And there's quite a bit to connect today, starting with some pretty sensitive diplomatic situations.
Right. Let's start in Gaza. We heard Hamas showed a, quote, positive spirit about a ceasefire proposal. That sounds hopeful. Cautiously, maybe.
Yes, cautiously is the right word. On one hand, any sign of positivity is, well, potentially significant. It suggests maybe there's an opening, perhaps driven by internal or external pressures.
An opening, but
But it's incredibly delicate. That positive spirit is just the very first step, turning it into, actual agreed upon terms that stick. That's a huge hurdle. So yes, a flicker of hope, but very, very fragile.
okay, fragile hope in Gaza.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the conflict in Ukraine seems to be ramping up again. President Trump and President Zelenskyy spoke recently.
They did. And the big takeaway was Trump reiterating Ukraine's need for Patriot missiles. This is happening just as Russia seems to be increasing its drone strikes.
So why the focus specifically on Patriots now?
Well, these aren't just any missiles. Patriots are advanced air defense systems. They're really crucial for protecting cities, infrastructure, from those relentless drone and missile attacks.
So getting more of them could really change things on the ground.
It could significantly bolster their defenses, yes. It forces a tactical rethink, certainly,
Mm-hmm.
and it signals ongoing vital support from the U.S.
And shifting regions, but sticking with conflict and defiance? Iran. We're seeing more protests.
Yes, in cities like Hamedan and Khash, pretty defiant protests erupting, and reports say they're being met with lethal force.
That's grim. And yet people are still protesting.
It really highlights the deep discontent there. Even facing severe crackdowns, the protests continue. It speaks volumes about the underlying tensions and, frankly, the desire for change. It's a sustained challenge to the regime.
That persistence is something. It also makes me think about information, how it spreads. Which brings us to Japan, actually.
Ah, right. The earthquake near the Takara Islands.
Yeah, and there was that viral manga prediction about a big disaster on July 5th. Caused a bit of a stir online.
It did. But Japan's meteorological agency was quick to step in. They confirmed the recent quake is completely unrelated. Just a coincidence.
Good. A useful reminder to check sources, especially when things go viral like that.
Absolutely. Debunking misinformation is, well, almost as important as finding new truths these days.
Speaking of new truths, let's pivot to science. Some really fascinating stuff happening. An interstellar object detected. Something from outside our solar system.
Incredible, isn't it? Finding something like that gives us a chance to study material formed around another star. It could tell us so much about, how other systems form, what they're made of. It really pushes our cosmic horizons.
Wow. And at the same time, we're looking way back into our own past, sequencing the oldest Egyptian genome.
Yeah, groundbreaking stuff. It's not just history. It opens up insights into human migration, how populations evolved, even ancient diseases. It's amazing looking out into the cosmos and deep into our DNA almost simultaneously.
That's quite the contrast. Okay, staying grounded for a moment. Security. Pakistan reported an operation near the Duran line?
That's right. They reported neutralizing around 30 suspected militants. The Duran line, that's the border region with Afghanistan, it's often volatile.
So this operation points to ongoing issues there.
It highlights the persistent security challenges. Yes, cross-border militancy is a major factor destabilizing that region. It's a complex, ongoing situation.
And briefly on the economic front, we saw news out of Southeast Asia, layoffs in Indonesia.
Yes, major layoffs and some plant closures in places like Bekasi.
Right.
It seems to be part of a broader trend, possibly pointing towards shifts in global supply chains and manufacturing in the region. It definitely impacts local workers significantly.
Right, those global shifts having very local consequences. Okay, finally, let's dip into the history books for a moment. July 5th, a significant anniversary in science.
Indeed. Dolly, the sheep's birthday, born back in 1996.
The first cloned mammal, I remember that being huge news.
It was monumental. It proved adult mammal cloning was possible, and it just kicked off this massive global discussion about genetics, bioethics, everything. Dolly's still a symbol of that scientific leap and, the complex questions that come with it.
So we've covered a lot. Diplomacy, conflict, science breakthroughs, security, economics, even a bit of history.
So what does this all mean when you put it together?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
Well, I think it just underscores how interconnected everything is, right?
Right.
And how fast things change. You have fragile hopes for peace in one place, escalating conflict in another, scientific discoveries pushing boundaries, economic shifts.
There's sometimes surprising links between them.
Exactly. It really makes you think, how do all these different threads from Gaza to Ukraine, from interstellar space to ancient DNA to Dolly the sheep, how do they weave together and maybe change how we see the world around us?
That's definitely something to ponder.